Hey Guardians, I just want to let everyone know that I do have both a Twitch and a Twitter, and I'm very active on both. Feel free to come give me a follow on both, links in the description. So, as I'm sure you all can imagine, I have been playing Act 2 religiously, getting on the content grind, the new guns, all that sort of thing. So, I wanted to just put out a quick video to talk about Act 2 so far, my first impressions, and whether or not it's good. So, first off, getting this out of the way real quick, and without any spoilers here, the story is pretty good. It is very short. I beat it in less than 2 hours, which is kind of a bummer, but the actual story is good. The dialogue is great, the new cutscene was awesome, and the missions are okay. We did also get new fieldwork assignments from Ido, and while these are okay, I do kind of wish that maybe they would just axe these and instead have more actual story content. Now, let's talk about PvP real quick before we get into Challenge of the Elders. The reality, unfortunately, is PvP basically feels the same as Act 1. So ability spam is still everywhere and is very oppressive. Long-range weapons such as 340 pulse rifles, scouts, bows, so on and so forth, still everywhere and also very oppressive and extremely unfun to play against. The nerf to Storm's Edge was great, but it having a longer cooldown than supers like Dawnblade, quite frankly, is absolutely insane. Plus, Twilight Arsenal and Song of Flame are still extremely oppressive, and they didn't get a nerf at all. Then, of course, special ammo and heavy ammo is still everywhere, also very unfun to play against. It makes playing with any sort of level of aggression very difficult, mainly because, first off, with the ability spam, combined with all of the special ammo, it makes playing aggressive difficult because anytime you slide a corner, you just have to hope that the enemy doesn't have a smoke, a swarm, a lightning surge, a diamond lance, a shotgun, a fusion rifle, a slug shotgun, so on and so forth. And with heavy ammo, listen, shared heavy just needs to go away. It needs to go away completely, or we should only have one heavy ammo spawn per match, period. Mainly because so many teams, for whatever reason, they just will not watch heavy, even though, and I have talked about this before on streams, if you see that heavy ammo is about to come up, that should be your top priority every single time. More than the objective, more than anything else, you go for the heavy ammo. Because even if, you lose a flag or an objective or whatever while you're getting heavy ammo, if 4 of you pull LMGs, you'll have that objective back in less than a minute. And that can lead to some comebacks that otherwise should not happen. So either shared heavy ammo needs to go away completely, or we need one heavy ammo spawn per match, and that's it. Now, moving on, high ground being disabled was a small W, but sort of pointless when 340 still exists because people have just gone back to LCs, to no time, to Red Death, so on and so forth. Then on top of that, the input lag is still there. It feels really, really bad. Connections are terrible. The lobby balancing is terrible, and you can really feel it with the current low population as well. And of course, the so-called nerf to Prismatic is not noticeable at all. That additional 15% penalty on ability cooldowns, not noticeable at all. You literally cannot tell a difference. And barring Solar Warlock, Prismatic is still by far and without question the strongest subclass in PvP. So Prismatic still needs some very, very heavy-handed nerfs across the board. And yes, I understand this current nerf was just, a band-aid fix, but a band-aid fix should still be something you can at least feel. It should be there to, stem the bleeding in such a way that it stops PvP from just feeling terrible. So really, a better band-aid fix would have been more like a 50 or 60% penalty to cooldowns on Prismatic, because the 15% one, believe me, you cannot feel it at all. Now, on a more positive note, Challenge of the Elders. Now, if you're wondering how Prison of Elders works, as a brief summary, basically you will enter the Prison of Elders and fight your way through a series of arenas. Between each arena, there will be traversal areas, and along the way in both the arenas and in the traversal areas, you will have side challenges that the servitor will give you. You'll see the objective on the top left of your screen. This can range from anything from get kills with abilities and special weapons and heavy ammo to having a bunch of mines spawn around the arena and you have to defuse them before a timer runs out. Keep in mind on that challenge, some of those mines are fake. Now, after you go through a set number of these arenas, you will enter a room with the servitor at the back with 3 chests. Now, one of the chests is bugged. It only seems to give glimmer. The other 2 chests will give you loot. Then at the end of Prison of Elders, you'll enter a large treasure room. Once you reach that room, you know you have completed a lap. There are, I think, 3 or 4 laps. I can't remember off the top of my head. And once you complete those laps, you'll then run to a final treasure room with a large chest in the center and up to 3 chests surrounding that one. Now, if you're wondering how to get all those chests, towards the top of your screen, you will see Warden's Favor with a multiplier next to it. Now, with those side challenges you get along the way, when you complete a challenge, you gain favor. When you fail a challenge, you lose favor. So get those challenges done, because the more favor you have, the more chests you get. And this is all actually quite a lot of fun. The main issue that I run into is, like with many things in Destiny, just my teammates. If you are going into this solo, then finding teams that will actually try to help you get those side objectives done is almost like pulling teeth, which is a problem, because if they're not getting it done, you literally just lose out on loot. And that's really my main complaint about Prison of Elders so far, is that it kind of starts to feel like deep dives all over again, because you just get so many, quite frankly, incompetent teammates who just do not try to get these objectives done, which is extremely frustrating because these side challenges are not hard. They're not hard at all. But outside of that, it is actually a lot of fun. I'm enjoying Challenge of the Elders thus far. It has very generous drops. I'm getting the new weapons very frequently from it. The encounters are decent. The arenas, for the most part, feel good. There are a couple arenas that I'm really not a big fan of, but for the most part, they feel very good. And also the cooldown buff on roaming supers in PvE is extremely noticeable and very helpful inside of Challenge of the Elders. I have literally gotten 3 Glacial Quakes in a room before. Now, as far as the new guns go, the new SMG is great in PvE and the new shotgun is great in PvP. We'll have reviews on that, but just know that these new guns are actually pretty good. Grid Skipper, I haven't really had a chance to test yet because I just haven't got a good roll on it, but when the time comes, of course we will. Now, one thing I do also want to mention is the tonic system still just feels really bad. Like, activating a tonic for the shotgun and having other weapons drop from it feels really bad. Plus, they just don't have a high enough drop rate even as is. So while it's still something, it's not as good as it needs to be. And it really just makes, you know, Onslaught and Challenge of the Elders just kind of feel like RNG hell when you're trying to go for a specific gun. And while, of course, I would just prefer to see crafting come back, at the very least, they need to give us the ability to focus these guns. Now, also inside of Challenge of the Elders, the enemy density actually isn't bad. It could be better. I always want higher enemy density, but as it is, it really isn't too bad. It keeps the action going. It's generally very fast-paced, and it feels pretty good. I do wish we had a few more arenas, since going through the same, I don't know, I want to say 4 or 5 rooms over and over again does start to get a little repetitive after a while. But I do want to say that this has the groundwork to be an incredible activity, and I really hope that Bungie works on expanding it more over time. I hope that Challenge of the Elders does not just go away next year. I hope that it sticks around and they continue to build on it, because this has the potential to be something really outstanding. It's actually been a pretty good time just grinding it out. So this was very brief, but that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to put something out for you guys, and so I thought I'd give my thoughts on Act 2 so far. And overall, Act 2 is good from the PvE end, but still just god-awful on the PvP end. But we do still have an exotic mission coming, so I am looking forward to playing that and getting my hands on the new shotgun. So overall, if we put aside PvP, which is painful to say because this is of course a PvP focused channel, Act 2 so far actually feels pretty good. Challenge of the Elders is a lot of fun, the story was pretty good, and we still have an exotic mission coming. So far, I am enjoying the new weapons as well, so if you haven't jumped in, I would at least recommend jumping in to try out Challenge of the Elders, go through the story, all of that sort of thing. But anyway, Guardians, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, leave me a comment comment with your thoughts on Act 2 so far. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the bell icon and check the description for my other links. We do have more videos coming, so have some patience with me. I've just been trying really hard to grind out Challenge of the Elders, to get the new guns and everything, but we do have more videos coming soon. But for now, I will see you all in the next video. Peace, Guardians.